Hey listeners, powered up by Mazer Group, this is the Turnin Dirt podcast. I'm your host, John Mazer. Hi, Janelle.
Hello, John. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking yourself.
Yeah, I'm doing really good. Thank you.
Good. I'm really happy and grateful that you took the time out. I know you're busy to come see us here at Turnin Dirt, but yeah, we're a podcast that talks all things agriculture, maybe a few other notable topics, and you can't have an agriculture podcast without having Delage Farms on here. So it's good to have you.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, right on. So Janel Delage Farms, just north of Indian Head. Few stats on the farm. Size?
28,000 acres.
Okay. I know that you run 10 CR9.9s. I think 4 or 5 T9s.
5 T9s.
Perfect.
4 with tracks, 1 with wheels.
Yeah. Got some Borgo air seeders on there. We haven't converted you in sprayers yet, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, running some red sprayers. And a couple other notables. They're just some T7s and stuff for the yard maintenance, that sort of thing, running the augers. Good stuff. Right on.
Few T5s.
Yeah. We're coming up on 5 years here at Mazer Group here, and I've conditioned pretty much everybody in Mazer Group. I get calls starting on the 10th of April, and the question is, have Delages started yet? Because you always seem to be the first in the field, which is amazing. So is there a schedule that you follow, or is like how because you are always the first in the field, which is great. What dictates that?
Our goal is to get the seed in the ground as early as possible.
Yeah.
And that means that when the conditions allow, that's when we start seeding.
Yeah.
And that can be early.
Yes, like very early.
When you look out the window and there's not a lot of snow, it could be very early.
Yeah. And so has that ever caught you in a bad spot where, maybe it looks like it and then all of a sudden there's a freeze or anything like that?
Yeah, certainly. That is a calculated risk on our part, knowing that an early season frost, you still have the opportunity to go back and reseed, do those sorts of things.
Yeah. A
frost in September and the crop's not ready, too late. Nothing you can do about that. So we're always pushing hard on the front end, knowing that the biggest risks, because you've already made all your investments, are on the back end.
Nice. Right on. So you are you specialize in agronomy. I guess that's the way to put it. Your specialized area in the field is agronomy.
Yeah, it's my area of passion.
Nice.
For sure.
Right on. So did that passion start at an early age?
So I would say I would be lying if I thought that this is what I would be doing when I was young.
Okay.
I said very specifically that I would not be doing anything on the farm.
Yeah.
That I was going to university to become an optometrist, to get away from it in every way possible.
Really?
And I managed through my first year of university, and I said, if I have to work inside every day for the rest of my life, that sounds like torture. And I switched into agriculture and realized that being outside and part of the rhythms of nature is what I really, really love.
Yeah.
And have obviously followed that passion ever since that moment.
Nice. And so, your agronomy specialties obviously bode well to running a farm. So, I know you do a few things on social media, and I've seen a couple of clips of you in the field presenting, I don't know if it was a germinated seed or something like that, but what do you do? Are you doing anything educational as far as social media in your passion of agronomy?
So what I would say is that, yes, I'm passionate about agronomy, but a lot goes into running a 28,000 acre farm.
Yes.
And I love being in the field and in our fields.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very hands-on with all of that, which limits the amount of time that I can do some of those other things. We started getting into it last year a little bit to say, can we just be filming what I'm doing anyways? Because I am digging in the dirt and looking at all these things, but can I verbalize what I'm looking at and seeing? And sometimes it happened and it didn't happen, but we talked about that being a really positive thing, because for me, it's really important for people to understand what you can do in agriculture and farming, that it's so much more than what a lot of people think it is. And there's, biology and just so many different things. So one of my, other passion projects is trying to help people understand what living and working on the farm is all about, and how many fruitful careers there can be in and around that. So trying, John, but it's always one of those things where time is very valuable.
Absolutely. Yeah. And trying to find time to do that kind of stuff. Cause it is a big undertaking. Like, I mean, to do what you say, like having somebody follow you around with a camera, capturing all that stuff, it's invaluable footage, but it's capturing that footage, you know, it's the tough stuff. So yeah, do what you can. Cause I mean, anything that you can put out, that's what we're really trying to do here at Turnin Dirt, is just educate the population that doesn't know about farming. Because I'll be very blunt, and maybe you can back me up on this, that like for a long time farming wasn't sexy like not at all. But now with this equipment that's pretty much a 5-star hotel in the cab, it drives itself. We have information coming from the machines onto our laptops or onto our tablets. You're able to dissect that on the agronomy side. We're able to dissect that on a service from a dealer standpoint. It really is, we're really jumping into the future with this kind of stuff. Are you involved? I know there's a lot of technology on the farm already, but what do you think the biggest part of technology that you utilize is when it comes to the equipment?
I mean, when it comes to the equipment, I would say that it's still some of the, so much of it still goes back to the GPS and to, you know, sharing lines, you know, variable rate sectional control, which, you know, is all dictated by the GPS. But for us, that's still some of the biggest benefit comes from that. And then the more recent, and I'm still not sure how we're going to use it, but getting back all that application data that's so specific to each field and each day and that sort of thing. Now we have that data. I still not sure exactly how to most effectively use it, but we have it now. So
the data's there. It's just putting it in a readable format. Totally understand. Like, I mean, we're talking like layered maps, that sort of thing. You know, first pass with seed, and then we've got a couple of passes with spraying, and then ultimately once the combine goes over that and you collect that data, you can now analyze exactly what worked best over a course of a season, right? So I'm told, and this is coming from the horse's mouth, which is Scott Wine from CNH. He was here to visit us very quickly, but said that we've got some technology stuff coming out in the near future, a year from now per se. But it's supposed to rival the green stuff in JD Link, which I'm super excited about, because I have to tell you, Janelle, when we came to Regina, a lot of our conquest sales, a lot of deal making in Manitoba, we use mechanics, like throwing pans in the field, that sort of thing, and really proving the efficiency of the equipment. Whereas here, technology is just such a big factor, especially in farms your size, because I mean, it's just, you have multiple operators running multiple pieces of iron. So there's the information on that and comparing the operators to each other. There's, like you said, there's the data that comes through from all of the layering on the field. So getting that all into one suite is what I've wanted, what we've wanted, especially Josh has wanted forever. And you can tell by the volume of his voice when he gets very passionate about a topic that, he definitely wants it. So I have that to tell you as good news.
That's very exciting. You have no idea how much data we've been collecting over the years and haven't been able to really do anything. Like, it's still manual, right? You're really digging into it in a very manual way. So I'm excited for that, John.
Yes, it's frustrating. Like, I'm just going to say it. Like, collecting the data and having the data and not having it in a readable format is frustrating, because there's ultimately very valuable decision-making key points in there that you can pull out of it. So not being able to decipher anything is very frustrating. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. So I want to touch on something. You have created I'm going to call a project called the Delage Project. So I was out at the first one, which is awesome. The kids were out there. They absolutely loved it. You had a big equipment display at Delage Farms, which was really cool. You took the time out to explain kind of what each piece does. You had a great, I believe this year was a lot bigger, but that last year, the one that I went to, I think there was probably 100 people there, 150 people there, which is so cool. But can you take us through what the Delage Project is?
Yeah, definitely. So the Delage Project is a memorial for my husband who passed away. And, you know, in general, he was so passionate about sharing with the world what we do.
Yeah.
And that is, I mean, it's a remarkable goal. And so what we've done is carry that on.
Nice.
And in the big idea is that fewer and fewer people have the opportunity to be on a farm, see a farm, touch a farm, feel it. And that's where all our food comes from.
Yes. That's we're feeding the world here, aren't we?
We're feeding the world.
Yeah.
And we want to be the gateway, the open house to allow people to come and touch and feel it.
Yeah.
So we do demonstrations on the farm. So the project has grown over the 2 years that we've done it, and we are going to make it even bigger this year. So we're going to open it up to the public this year, so anyone can come to the farm. And
oh my goodness.
Yeah. Our theme this year is going to be around sustainability and sharing, what are the practices that we do and our partners do, because it's not just about us, right? But what our partners also do to improve the sustainability of the food that we produce.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
it's so cool. Yeah. And like, I mean, when I heard that you were doing that, I was like, this is perfect. Like, it's so good, because along with people not being able to get on farms, it's also it's more difficult to get on a farm, because we're seeing the decline of smaller family-sized farms. They're being bought up by bigger corporate farms, which is not a bad thing per se, but it just makes it more difficult for the general public to get onto a farm through a family member or whatever. So, and more education in this industry, I love it. I'm all for it.
And it's a fun day. So it's all about the kids, really, because we know that that's how we continue to get this message through, is through the kids. So food, bouncy castles, big tractors, everything is there. So it's a great day.
That's so awesome.
I think I'm going to bring my kids out.
Oh, you have to, man.
Because everything you just listed, my 2 little boys will just love it.
Yeah. It's so awesome, man. Like Janel does a great job of setting everything up, and she actually goes through every piece and what it does. Mm-hmm. So it's super educational. And like, as I said before, like, I mean, there's a very, very broad segment of the population that doesn't know what the hell we do on farms, what you do on farms.
Yeah. They drive past this big equipment and have no idea what it does, and they're excited about it. Yeah. Right. That's my favorite thing. So many people say, like, oh, I drove by and now I actually get to come and see it and touch it. And I'm like, yes, please, please come and see it and touch it.
Well, John, when you were kind of mentioning, that I'm not in the agriculture world and didn't grow up in it.
Yeah.
When I was in grade 12 and we're doing job fairs and we're talking to our counselors about what we can be when we, get our stuff together, the farming wasn't even brought up. Because
is that right,
it just seemed like something, I guess, and even in Regina, like it was high school in Regina, and it almost seemed like it's passed down from generation to generation. If you're not in the loop, you're just, you look at the farmers, they're producing food. You hear some horror stories about farming. A lot. You hear more horror stories than you do
the general public would. Yeah.
It was a terrible year. The hail damage, the drought, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it was never sold to us as an appealing thing. But now that I'm getting into it, listening to you guys, like it's amazing to think like the opportunities that exist for young people that want to enter the farming industry. How many opportunities there are for people recruiting good people.
Yep.
And it's also sold as a very, like, you got to work yourself to the bone. And that's not overly attractive to a grade 11, grade 12 kid.
No, especially in our day and age now. Yeah.
And I love having Janel being a female on here, because also females weren't even thinking that way.
Right.
So if we start getting, like the genders involved, you're just adding so much recruiting capabilities. And with this fun technology and new equipment, that actually to me adds such a great recruiting opportunity for people. And the bigger the farms get, the more culture they can build within that. And I think it's all great.
Absolutely.
That's my side note.
Yes. And a great side note at that. And like one thing, which is a great segue to take away is the recruiting aspect of it. So Janel, I actually had the pleasure of meeting a few of your recruits. I believe they were from the UK. They popped in here, and were 2 from Australia. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I think there was 5 of them in here. So on the recruiting side of things, you really, do an international search, if you will, because I mean, or you know, on the HR side of things on a farm, like I mean, you have your staples that are with you year round, but again, like you're looking for qualified operators, you're looking for people that don't mind working, which is hard to find in our day and age. But yeah, you've really gone to an international level on recruiting for those seasonal workers. So what do you do for that as far as recruiting?
So the beautiful thing about social media is that once your presence is out there and you have lots of followers, and then people start coming to us. And social media works like kind of how it's supposed to. I have a fellow who, you know, is from Australia and worked for us. He likes our page. His friends see, and then it does the viral thing.
That's right.
By and large, our international folks come to us, which is beautiful. We have a really nice network of lots of people from Australia and the UK, the Netherlands, just a really, really nice mix of people. And by and large, those folks do have agriculture experience, farming experience, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I really wanted to go back to the point where the majority of my full-time year-round folks have no farm experience before they come to us.
No way.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
It's so awesome.
The skills, people think, oh, you have to be raised on a farm, all these sorts of things. The skills are so transferable.
Yep.
Right? If you like driving big equipment, you've driven whatever sort of big equipment it is, right? Truck, payloader, whatever. Those skills are so incredibly transferable.
Yep.
So I just thought it was such a great comment and segue that most of our full-time guys aren't from the farm.
Yeah.
Which is just really cool, right? And the other thing that I kind of thought was the highlight of this growing season is there was 4 women working in the field with me.
No way.
So I thought that was pretty
awesome.
Cool.
Girl power.
There it is.
Most definitely. And I know that's what it takes, right? You just need to see someone who kind of looks like you doing those things. And then now I subsequently get a lot more women apply because they know, hey, they're accepting of women being in the field because, you know, there's always that question mark. So that's also been really quite cool.
That's so awesome. And so like going back, I gotta reiterate this. So did I pull out of that you really don't have to do much recruiting anymore? Like, I mean, you do, like, I mean, I'm sure you have to do a little bit, but like you have a following now, Janel.
So I don't want to get cocky.
Okay.
But farming is cool right now.
It's awesome.
Which is very helpful.
Yep.
Right? So I'm in a networking group and we were all sitting around and all of a sudden none of us are having trouble finding young local people.
Yep.
Farming is cool right now.
Yep.
So that's why this is awesome. Let's build on that momentum.
Yep.
Make sure that stays in the forefront. Farming is cool right now. So as of this moment, because of that, recruiting has been quite easy.
Awesome.
Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
It's still, you know, it can change. It can ebb and flow. Like some years we're still not where we want to be.
Yep.
At this moment in time, farming is cool, taking full advantage of it, have lots of young local people who want to come work with us and we're just bringing them on.
Oh, that's awesome.
So is there a shift in when you say farming is cool? I'm interested in that. Not that I ever thought it was uncool. But was there something that caused a shift into saying like, is it the technology? Is it the social media showing the behind the scenes that it's not what you maybe stereotypically think it is? Has there been a shift?
I'm
you take this one.
Oh, you want me to take this?
It.
Okay, because I think it's like multifold.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
like it's a question for both of us. But I mean,
it's like, is Morgan Wallen, right?
Oh,
like let's if we're gonna be serious, right?
Okay,
right?
right.
It's like country music, this like cool, like so. There's some of that we can't discount.
Yellowstone, okay,
can't discount that. There's some money to be made in farming. There has been. It's been profitable years.
Yep.
I mean, and when you talked about, it hailed, it's too dry. I hate that. I want to celebrate when times are good.
Absolutely.
And it has historically not been part of the Saskatchewan farming culture. We must be modest. We must, those sorts of things. And there's a balance. There is a balance.
Yep.
But if we want to attract the best and the brightest to our industry, we can't be maybe quite as modest as we've been.
Right.
And I think we're getting a bit better at that. So I think that's also where that shift comes from.
Yep.
So it's just lots of different things happening at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great answer.
You nailed that. Like,
John, what do you think?
Well, I mean, a lot of the words that Janel spoke, I mean, I would speak too. Like, I mean, yeah, farming is cool now. I'm not a country music fan, but at the same time, like, I totally get it. Like, there's songs about tractors, there's songs about farms, that sort of thing. And like, yeah, the average person can relate to that kind of stuff, right? I think I got to put a plug here. I think the equipment is a big help too. Like, I mean, from what we were, like, I mean, when this, I can't put a date on when the industry started, but when my grandparents were farming out here, like we're talking open calves farms were a quarter section at best. And I mean, it was like grunt, hard work. Like, I mean, and that's probably where the persona of it came from.
So they didn't have hay balers back then.
Well, they would have, but I mean,
they
like
had to do it.
It's like a lot of manual labor. Like my dad, my grandpa couldn't hear by the time he passed away because I mean, it was just all open cab. And so, yeah, but now fast forward 75 years, 80 years, 90 years, whatever you want to call it, 100 years. And we have these beautiful tractors that we get in that drive themselves, that, you know, collect the data and we're able to send it to you. We get in these beautiful sprayers. One day you'll understand that with the engine at the back and the boom at the front, whereas Case has the boom at the back and the engine closer to the front.
Okay.
But very nice and quiet. The Case, don't get me wrong, Case are a great spray. But anyway, and then going into harvest where you have these beautiful combines with pressurized cabs. Yeah, they're very quiet. There's a big comfortable buddy seat there for, you know, to bring Leo on, to bring, you know, the kids on, to bring a new recruit on to teach them. And I mean, yeah, that helps. It certainly does help, and they look good. You know, they look sexy. I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, so
well, there's no doubt that less manual labor is going to attract a broader range of people, because there's some that love manual labor. That they live and grind off that, and then there's some people that are just like, no, but I love technology. So if I could like program this and have it, you know, do it for me, and I'm out in the sunshine, like you're right, it might just attract a different type of worker. And I think that's great. That's all great. And it answers it for me, because when you said it's cool, it sounds like it's getting cooler to me. And I hope it does, because when we look at stable careers, is there anything more, I don't know if stable's the word, but is there anything more, I guess, concrete in Saskatchewan than agriculture?
No.
Probably not.
No.
So I think more people should start thinking about this.
Absolutely. And going back to the Delage Project, because you said like you're open to the public, year-round stuff. Are you going to do any proactive things, as maybe advertising to schools, come out for a field trip, that sort of thing?
I've been slightly disappointed because we don't do it during school, right?
Of course.
So we do it in the summer. So
right.
we haven't had the uptake from the schools that I've been hoping for, which I understand. But so yes, I told the schools, I invited them, but it's just harder to get the message out and to get the uptake, because we do it in early August. Because ideally we're doing it just before harvest. So the equipment's all out, ready to go, those sorts of things. And it's not a great time for schools. No, schools are out. But I'll be in attendance.
I'm coming.
Jem and his kids are coming.
And the whole firm, right? That's the thing. Tell your colleagues, right? You're in an agriculture ad agency. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll get out there for sure. We'll get everybody from AdSpark out. Like Ryan needs to be out there.
Oh man,
we'll get him out there. We'll get everybody from AdSpark can come out and
Ryan on a tractor. I gotta get a picture of that, man, because
I mean, it'd be good advertising for him, because I mean, we're in the mecca of the agriculture world here in Saskatchewan. There are no better producers, and I'm gonna get a little bit biased. There are no better producers than right here in Saskatchewan, and I'm going to say that vocally and openly on which can go viral. So,
but you were also in the humility mecca, like you said. And I do agree that doesn't necessarily help the industry, because I know people in the industry, and they're like, since we do advertising, they're kind of like, we don't want to come across too progressive, because it's a traditional industry and we don't want to rattle our colleagues or our other farming community. And it's almost like a pressure to be humble instead of this celebration pressure.
Right.
So I like it. Let's create leaders that are doing that, because that's what's going to get noticed. That's what's going to drive this young community to keep it cool.
Yeah.
And if we
keep it cool and celebrate.
Keep it cool.
Yeah, to celebrate. Right on. All good things. Should we get into some fun stuff with Jay? I think we should.
At first I need you to define that word you used for a soil specialist earlier.
Agronomist.
Agronomist.
Yeah.
So what is an agronomist?
I would describe Agronomist as it's a three-pronged kind of approach. So you specialize in plants,
Okay.
you specialize in soil, and you specialize in economy.
Oh,
So you need to the idea is to bring all three together because you can't have one without the other.
and I love
Nice.
that. So
awesome.
how does that translate on your farm? Like what is that? That's pretty distinct knowledge for agriculture. Have you experienced anything great happening on the farm because of that experience? Or how do you use it to your advantage?
I don't know. We use it to our advantage all the time.
Yeah, it's a big part of every day. Like, I mean,
It's a big part of
if
every day.
Janelle wasn't on the farm, Delage Farms would hire an
Yeah, you would
agronomist.
hire someone.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. So you would
Yeah.
so it's a profession. You can
Yeah.
so before I was on the farm full time, I was an agronomist for Cargill.
Oh, nice.
So I consulted on other people's farms.
Yeah.
So, but
They-
now I get to do it on my farm.
Yeah.
And I get to bring all that value home.
I love it.
Yeah.
So everyone out there, you can be an agronomist.
You can
and
be an
have
agronomist.
multiple farms hire you.
100% you can. Yeah. But I mean, again, I think it's a passion. Like, I mean, because I mean, there's a biology aspect to it and that sort of thing. And I got to tell what I was going to tell you before we started to push the record button is that when I came out of high school, I went into agribusiness at the Assiniboine Community College in Brandon. Marketing, accounting, management, all that kind of stuff. Did really well in weeds, crops, soils, all that kind of stuff. I bombed in. So it's not for the faint of heart, but it is cool if you like that kind of stuff. Like, I know 2800 is liquid nitrogen, right? Yeah. That's about it. So that's why we'd have to hire, like, I mean, at our family farm, we'd have to hire an agronomist, you know, but Delage Farms has the advantage of having Janelle on the farm.
I'm
all
just
the time.
laughing at every person sitting there watching this saying, I can't keep a mini plant in my house alive. And I always laugh that we live in the farming agriculture mecca of the world.
Yeah.
And none of my friends can keep a live plant
No.
alive
Yeah.
in their house.
Yeah.
So
So
it's-
mainly because they're in the basement with no light. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Like, I mean, it was why are they growing? Well, there's no windows in this room. So
Yeah.
that's the first thing. And they do need water. You know this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, no, it's an art, and much respect for you for knowing that.
Yeah.
And it probably comes in handy when you're growing acres of crop.
28,000 acres to be
Yeah.
exact.
Wow. Okay, we're gonna get into some light stuff. This is just an opinion, or what's something that's your favorite. After a long, stressful day or week at work, what is your dream meal? If you could get anything made by a master chef and delivered to you, what would it be?
So we're talking like, Janelle's just got off 18-hour shift on the
Yes.
combine. Well, she probably want to sleep at that point, but let's just call it an 8-hour day. An 8-hour of, you probably don't plug a combine, but I mean, yeah. No comment or what?
No comment.
Okay.
So for me, I love gardening. So on top of growing 28,000 acres of
Yep.
grain, I also love gardening.
Yep.
And for me, it would be fresh garden veggies and a nice juicy steak.
Nice.
Okay.
And to have someone prepare that for me, amazing.
You deserve that.
Yeah, really.
How do you, two questions then. How do you like your steak cooked? And what do you want for seasoning on a steak? And do you ever use a side sauce for a steak? Ever? Is that against the rules of a farmer?
Medium rare, salt and pepper.
Okay.
And if I'm feeling really fancy, blue cheese.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay. Okay.
Blue cheese topper is unbelievable. So a quick comment on that. Like, I believe, like, let me start again. Blue cheese is a very sophisticated taste. Have you had the blue cheese filet at the keg?
Yes.
Very mild, I find like that. It's a unbelievable topper for a steak. But when we had Remingtons in Brandon, we had a blue cheese topper, very sharp. Like, it was a super sharp blue cheese. So I believe there's different levels of blue cheese. And if we're going to do that, it's got to be a keg blue cheese. I would answer like pretty much spot on to what you said. I'm not a huge vegetable guy, so I'm going to sub the vegetables for like some nice home cooked fries. Like, I'm talking, we cut them yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Thick.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm a Mexican food guy. So I don't know if a nice
He wants a burrito.
nice taco. will
Yeah,
just do
Crunch
me
Wrap
just great.
Supreme for Jim. with
Yeah.
supreme fries.
I'm
yeah.
thinking Taco Bell today. Okay, so now we're gonna go into just some overrated, underrated things. So,
Cool.
simple answer: is this overrated or underrated, and why? First is wine.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, sure.
I believe it's. So I'm gonna get shot for this. I believe it's overrated.
Yeah.
Now that's not to say I don't like wine, but like I mean they're. Yeah, like I mean they're. How do I explain this right with not getting shot by the family? But I mean like it's good. I mean with the meal that we just said, nice glass of red wine, and like I'm a Pinot Noir guy because I like nice and light, but I'm not like salivating over wine. You know,
Mhm.
so but a lot of people do.
A lot of people do.
And I just don't think it's that. I don't think the hype is that big.
Like, I'm going to be neutral and say that it's rated appropriately.
Okay. Okay.
Making up your own answer, right?
Because right now it's all about the cocktails, and cocktails are too sweet. There's like, like they're okay for like one drink, but that's maybe, and then beer, and then all these like craft beers, and that's gone totally out of hand,
Out of control, yeah.
out of control. So I think the wine is appropriately rated.
Yeah. Some cocktails
Well
are
said.
funny, like an old fashioned. It's like,
Yeah.
that's just bourbon.
Yeah,
It is.
What are you lying to me
Yeah,
for?
exactly. Yeah.
That's just bourbon straight with an orange slice.
And a little
And
bit
a,
of
Get outta
and a
here.
really big ice cube.
Yeah,
so it
exactly.
looks
Exactly.
fancy.
Don't tell me that's a cocktail. That's just bourbon.
Yeah, it's just dressing up nicely. The moment I found out what an old fashioned was, have you ever seen Crazy Stupid Love?
Yes.
With what's his
Ryan
name?
Gosling?
Yeah, Ryan Gosling and
Steve Carell.
yes, thank you very much. I love that you're my second voice. But he makes it. He makes that for when he brings you home. I'm like, what is that drink? And he puts a lot of love into it. He peels the orange and he like crushes the sugar cube in the bottom, and yeah, it's just bourbon.
Pretty much.
It's
It is
just bourbon.
dressed up,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
laugh.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is, you kind of mentioned this earlier, country music, overrated, underrated.
I'm ready to jump on this.
I
one.
know.
I would say that it's underrated.
Ooh, okay.
Here's why. Because I think that good country music tells a beautiful story. And that's often overlooked because of some of the instruments and the twang and the, perception of it.
Yeah.
Wow. I think it's overrated. I think it's way overrated. Now, it's a genre that I can't like. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a few country songs. Like I really like the songs, but yeah, I don't share the hype that I would say probably the good percentage of the population of Saskatchewan shares.
Yeah, country has always been able to captivate an 8-year-old up to a 95-year-old.
Yeah,
And
probably
whenever
for
you
the
s-
reason that you said.
Whenever
it tells a good story.
Yeah, it's catchy, it's comfortable. Parents let their kids listen to it without a problem.
Yeah.
Some heavy metal stuff didn't work that well with my parents early on. So, and I think it gets a bad rap because when something becomes that popular, typically niche music people start saying, "No, I'm out."
Yeah.
I kind of like the new country that's coming out. That singer songwriter Americana.
Zach Bryan,
Yeah.
Chris Stapleton.
Yeah, Chris Stapleton changed the game.
For you?
Well,
or in general, everything.
for country for me, because anyone that's saying like Noah Kahan and Zach Bryan and all these other underground guys that came up really quick changed it. It was actually Chris Stapleton that gave it that I'm just a normal guy. I'm a normal bearded man with a guitar singing my heart out.
Yeah.
And I don't sound twangy. My voice could be replicated in different genres. Oh,
Sure.
Pretty good. So I think he changed the game, but I love that. And I think it's going to usher in a new authentic era of country that it typically is criticized for.
Nice.
It's maybe being inauthentic, but there are always different genres.
Yeah, I lost that battle.
Well, I'm not saying it's heavily rated in general, so it's hard to say
it is. Yeah.
it's underrated. Okay. Next one is Costco. Overrated, underrated.
I'm going to let you take this one first.
Overrated. Because if you have to go shop somewhere else to get the other things that you need, like the chunky peanut butter, then it's totally overrated.
It's totally overrated.
They kind of force you to buy what they have there, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. They got their own brand stuff, like the Kirkland stuff. And yeah, it's it's just like, okay, it's they really market the advantage of buying bulk. So like, I mean, if you want to go in there and get 3 liters of vodka, like Kirkland vodka, sure. Like, I mean, that's fine. But typically we're going out for, you know, a week's worth of groceries. We got no problem because honestly, trips to the grocery store are a nice little break from the house. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to stock for 2 months. You know?
Well, I mean, I just don't have the space for it. In my little house, even
Yeah.
with 2 kids, we just don't have the space. So
Yeah.
I think it's overrated because you have to buy in such a large quantity.
Yes.
And the small money you save on a few items,
Yep.
you get suckered into buying stuff you don't need on the other end.
Well,
And
it's
it
just
it just takes away all the benefit.
Yep.
So this podcast is not sponsored by Costco.
No, that's nor will it ever be.
Nor will it ever be.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is buying lottery tickets. Overrated, underrated?
That's a weird one, man.
Totally overrated.
I think so too. I've never bought one.
I've never bought one either. Okay.
Really? Yeah.
Have you bought one, John?
I buy lottery tickets, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but I only buy them. I have a kind of a system. I buy them when the jackpots are really high, and then I'll keep them in my truck and let them build. And I'll only buy them when they're high. And then once I get a decent pile, I'll go check them, throw out the losers. Usually I know a free play here, $2 here, whatever. And I'll only check them and cash those in when the jackpot is high again. And so that's all right.
Yeah.
It doesn't give me joy. It's like, I'm gonna fucking win this time, you know? Like, I mean, this is the ticket. It's just, so why not, you know?
Why
Can't
not?
win if you don't play, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the mentality. I know a lot of people that buy them consistently and religiously, and if they ever won, they're probably never giving me a dime because I'm saying they're overrated. So, those are all fair. The last one is I just have first to admit that I've never had a sip of coffee in my life. I'm
Ever.
never.
Are you a coffee drinker?
I love a good cup
Yeah,
of coffee.
so do I.
Okay, so here's my question. Is buying coffee at coffee shops overrated or underrated compared to making your own at home?
It is wildly overrated buying coffee at coffee shops. I make an amazing cup of coffee.
There you go.
You don't want to pay $8 at Starbucks for
And it's not the price. They don't taste good.
Yeah.
When you get it figured out at home,
Yeah.
I make an amazing cup of coffee.
Tell me your strategy. Like, I mean, are we going as far as, I'm sure you buy whole bean,
Oh yeah.
grind the beans.
Oh yeah.
Are you weighing or like, are you?
I cheat. I have an espresso maker at home.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I make myself a
Gotcha.
double shot of espresso. in
So
the morning.
espresso is the drink or is it coffee?
Oh, it's espresso.
Oh, okay. Well, which is all under the same umbrella. But
In my
like,
mind,
yeah.
it's all because I'm not that fancy about it, other than I like how it tastes.
Yes. Yep. Awesome. I love a good espresso. Love all coffee products. I believe it's overrated. Bought out of a store too. It used to be like we had at home. We've got the combo grinder / coffee maker. So you put the whole beans in. I'm finding that the ground coffee, and this is nowhere near your level. I mean, this is just standard coffee in a pot. But I mean, I'm finding that just the ground coffee in the coffee maker is just as good. For me, anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're talking superior to like the Keurig pods, or you're talking about superior to the drip coffee at the other places?
At the coffee shop, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It just, like a pot of coffee that's freshly brewed at the house is if not better, just as good as a coffee shop.
Okay.
I'm not at Janel's level yet, though. I don't have the espresso machine, which I can 100% understand. Like, I mean, they're awesome and espressos are delicious, but just not there yet. Yeah.
When I tell people I've never had a sip of coffee, they're like, I don't understand how you stay energized.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer. I know when people drink coffee for years and they don't get a coffee,
Yeah.
they're moody.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't understand how you just haven't had, you've obviously tried it to try it.
No. Just the sheer smell of it.
That's such bullshit.
No, here's what I've had. I've had like a sip of my friend's iced cappuccino where I've had coffee flavor and coffee cake.
Yeah.
Iced coffees. But I have never put sugar and cream in a hot thing of coffee and taken a sip. Never in my life. And I'm not lying. I have you
have no reason to lie. I'm just flabbergasted.
The sheer smell of it,
is delicious.
I was going to say, nothing better.
Yeah.
Growing up, my parents had coffee brewing every morning, and just the smell of it, I never liked it. And then as I grew older, I think I was always, a simple guy.
Yeah.
Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water. Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water. Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water. Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water. Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water. Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water. Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water. Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water. Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water. Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water. Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water. Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water. Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water. Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water. Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water. Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water. Give me a Coke, a water, a Coke, a water.
Yeah.
Give me chicken fingers, a burger. Like I was always a simple guy. So coffee just seemed like already in high school, I had to try to get a palate for a beer,
Yeah.
which was hard. And I was like, I don't want to get into this coffee.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I know people that, you know, they can't go a few hours without
Yeah.
coffee during the day. So
I love you so much.
It's a fun
It's
fact.
so fucking weird. Like it's just like I just don't understand. Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Because coffee in itself is simple.
mm-hmm.
You tell you have the simple guy. Like I mean, yeah, and it's okay. Each your own. I still love you, but I mean, it's just like crazy how you haven't had a sip of coffee.
No, maybe I will
To
someday,
each of their own.
but I don't want to get in. I don't want another thing I'm relying on.
Yeah,
Not that I have a ton. I don't, but
another
you know,
addiction.
yeah, I don't have. Sorry,
Yeah.
I shouldn't make it out to be like I have a long list of addictions, but you know, I'm trying to stay unconnected to things that I need.
Yeah,
So
Gotcha.
coffee, you know, it's an addiction to people. So
yeah.
But
Staff
it's also
drink a lot of coffee.
Harmless.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
Very harmless.
Yeah,
Staff drinks quite a bit of coffee.
Yeah.
Not as much as you might think.
no. Like if you got like, nothing fancy in the staff room or anything for coffee makers or anything.
Nothing fancy.
Yeah.
I have one crazy coffee drinker, and
Yeah.
the rest, they're all pretty mild.
Nice.
We have, so instead, Bunny buys them assortment of pop. We have Grape Crush, we have root beer, we have Coke, we have Diet Coke,
Oh,
we
you got
have
it all.
bubbly, we
Yeah.
have iced tea.
Yeah.
We have a lot more of that going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Now you're speaking my language. Other than
Let's get into
other
that.
than cream soda is the only unacceptable pop in the world.
Yeah.
I think.
Cream soda Slurpees are amazing though.
Yep, that's fair.
Yeah, I wouldn't drink a can of cream soda though. What's your favorite pop?
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke.
Mm-hmm.
Jim?
Coke. Oh, I'm Coke.
Yeah, Coke. So my.
Coke is superior to Pepsi too.
Yeah.
Anyone that tells you differently needs to probably see somebody.
Yeah, yeah. Along with your amazing assortment of pop out at the farm, I also saw at the Delage Project your amazing kitchen that you have out there,
Yes.
which is unbelievable. Preparing food for the staff for all seasons of farming. Was it lunch or supper? That's every day.
So we do hot lunch every day,
Yep.
delivered to the field,
Yep.
and then you get a lunch kit full of food to get you through the rest of the day.
That's so awesome.
And it's like, you think about the healthiest, like most well-balanced, everyone gets a fruit, everyone gets a vegetable, everyone gets a sandwich, everyone gets a little treat, a little dessert. Like at the end of harvest, you're like, oh, I need to go have a hamburger because I just ate so healthy for 2 months of harvest. They do a brilliant job of cooking for us.
Nice, right
Yeah.
on. And so do you get just a crew from Indian Head?
Yeah, it's a group of ladies from Indian Head that
Yeah.
have kind of all come together.
Oh, that's so awesome.
They work in the kitchen and put
Yeah.
together this, like they have this goal of never cooking us the same meal twice during harvest.
Not one, twice.
Not one. The goal is not the same meal twice unless it's like super highly requested, like on purpose.
Yeah, sure.
But the
Yeah.
goal is not the same meal twice for all of harvest.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they do such a good job of it.
Yeah. Well, good on them. And it's great that you found those ladies too, because that is awesome. And it's awesome that the hot lunch is delivered. And because and this is what I did all the time when I was putting my time in at the farm, you'd pack your own lunch in the morning. I go to work, and by 9:48, you were working on your last little bunwich, and that was it for the rest of the day. And you're like, fuck, what the hell do I do now? So yeah, this is nice. It because it's delivered, can't eat it till it gets there. Yeah, knock your socks off. Maybe that's still happening with the lunch kits towards the end of the day, but at least you got the hot lunch in them. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, you good?
Yeah.
Right on.
It's a pleasure.
Janelle, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate the time. Would you come back?
Absolutely. This was
Awesome.
That was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, that's good to hear. Really good to hear. Again, thank you for your time, and I look forward to having you back.
Yeah, thanks, Jen.
Okay, thanks.